Hello? Susan Yasui here. So today we have chapter 14, which is entitled Waiting in the Snow. And this is from the book Through the Eyes of a Child. And it's using my daughter's voice as a child that had myself, an American mother, and her Japanese father. So here's a story about waiting in the snow. Brrr! It's very cold. We bought our first hot carpet this week. I love it. I can sit on the floor and play while keeping warm. My mom had never heard of such a thing, or I would probably have had one before now. It has electric temperature controls on it and even a switch for heating only half the carpet. It's better than the kotatsu because I can move around more. We are eating a lot of soup now that the weather is colder. My mom makes lentil bean soup or homemade cream of mushroom soup with shiitake mushrooms. I use a spoon to eat those, but when my dad makes noodle soup, I use my chopsticks. My dad told me that he had to hand feed my mom like a baby one time. This was the first time she tried to use chopsticks to eat noodle soup. It was in one of those noodle shops that makes their own noodles. She was so hungry, and the noodles kept slipping out between her chopsticks before she could get them in her mouth. Finally, about the time my mom was about to start crying, my father took her chopsticks and noodle soup and hand-fed her. I wonder what the restaurant people thought of that. Yeah, good question. All right. You know, I actually had to learn two different ways of eating soup, the noisy way and the quiet way. I have to look around to see what nationality people I'm eating with before I take my first bite. There is a good reason for slurping the noodles here, though. They are served so hot that the intake of air cools them as you eat them. If you are from a Western country, please try it when no one is listening. All right, this is the kuri chestnut season, which reminded my mom of a pronunciation problem, she had when she first came here. She had seen my dad make curry using a box of roux that he bought in a usual grocery store in Kusunokicho. My mom wanted to try making this kind of curry rice herself. She was out shopping with a little 8-year-old girl named Mika. Mika was her student, but she and Mom liked to do things together after Mika got home from school. My mom asked Mika to help her find the curry, and then they would make it together when they got back to the apartment. Mika was very excited because she loves kuri rice. I still can't pronounce it. She loves kuri rice. Kare rice. Okay, kare rice. Japanese curry. They spent hours going from store to store in Kusunokicho, then to Yokogawa, and then finally to the Hondori shopping area. My mom trying to find curry roux and Mika trying to find kare chestnuts, which were not yet in season. No, she's trying to find, okay, I'm trying to find curry, which is kare in Japanese, but I'm saying curry, and so she thinks it's the kuri, meaning chestnuts. Oh my gosh. Anyway, they were not yet in season, and all along they thought they were looking for the same thing. At one store, my mom thought she had found the red and yellow box of the curry roux she had seen my dad use, but Mika kept explaining that this box was not kuri gohan, meaning it wasn't the chestnuts to use with rice. Okay. Later that night, Mika's father helped unravel the confusion with the use of a dictionary. My mom and Mika were so surprised to find that they were talking about two completely different things, sounding very much the same. using the American pronunciation of curry and the Japanese of kuri. Did you know that in America they even make curry ice cream these days? They've also started a mochi fad. There is garlic sesame mochi, cinnamon raisin mochi, onion sour cream mochi, and even pizza mochi. I still like my mochi heated in the toaster oven, served with butter and soy sauce. How about you? Back to the cold. It feels like the snow will be coming soon. The first year my mom was in Hiroshima was the first time she ever saw falling snow. She had driven to the mountains in California before and had seen snow on the ground, but that wasn't near as beautiful as seeing it fall. She woke up one morning to find everything covered in white. My mom said that it took her breath away. I'm glad I don't have to wait until I'm an adult to enjoy the snow. That first year Mom was here, she was teaching an English class at a large automotive company, Matsuda to be exact. She often got asked to teach English because many people wanted to talk to someone whose native whose native language was English. Sometimes she would just be walking down the street and someone would stop to ask if she could teach them English. Mom said that she enjoyed the chance to get to make new friends. My dad was dating my mom by then. He worked 6 days a week until late evening, but when he could, he would meet my mom for dinner after work. Usually my mom got around town on her own, either by foot, streetcar, bus, or taxi. This one night, my dad was getting off work early, so he said that he would pick her up at the main gate of the auto factory after her lesson. As my mom waited at the main gate, the snow started to fall. Oh yes, I remember clearly. She said it was really beautiful, the little puffs of white falling from the sky. She was wearing a warm, fluffy white coat, and soon her head was covered with white, too. My dad didn't come for a long time. He was waiting at a different gate. The factory is a very big place with at least 3 gates. Finally, my dad asked the guard at his gate if he'd seen a foreign woman come through there. The man said that he hadn't, but that there was one standing out at the main gate. It's interesting that he knew that. The guards were talking about this foreigner, obviously. He even escorted my dad through the grounds to the other gate where he found my mom. It seems romantic that neither of them gave up and went home. They both just kept waiting in the snow. Wow. That was the same winter that my mom found out about Bonenkai parties. Oh, yes. When my dad first announced that his company's year-end party was coming up soon, my mom started to get excited. Her first thought was, what shall I wear? She didn't know what to think when she found out that she wasn't invited. Did he have a girlfriend at work that he was hiding from her? Where my mom is from, the company's year-end party always includes the spouses, and the summer picnic is for the kids too, the whole family. It's a chance for everyone to meet each other and to have a good time. The women get all dressed up for the year-end party and get their hair done up special. The men wear their best suit or sometimes rent a tuxedo and buy a corsage for their lady. That is also the same year that my mom broke a water pipe in my dad's house when no one was home. She was cleaning the house in preparation for the new year, a Japanese tradition that she really likes. She grabbed onto the kitchen sink faucet for support as she was washing the windows above the sink. Remember, that was one of those really old Japanese houses. Suddenly, the pipe broke and water started spurting all over the house. My dad was up in his hometown for the weekend, and my mom didn't speak much Japanese yet. She ran for her purse and grabbed that same little red dictionary that she used with my dad when they first met. She found the word tetsudai, for help. She ran outside to the neighbor's house yelling, "Tetsudai! Tetsudai!" and motioned for the two men to follow her. They found the water still gushing out and the kitchen floor now flooded. One man ran around to the back to turn off the water at the main nozzle, while the other helped my mom start mopping up. They must have talked about that in the neighborhood for months. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Just recently, the three of us were out for a walk near there, and we walked past that neighbor's house. The same man was out front watering his flowers. He looked up as we came near, and he recognized my mom immediately, all these years later. He was very friendly and glad to see us. He had wondered whatever happened to my mom and dad after they left for America. He was especially glad to learn about me and ran into his house to get me a small gift. Then this man, a very religious person, squatted down low until he was at the same level as me. He took my hand in his and said, "You are a very special child. You are the fruit of an international marriage. You hold a key to future understanding." Isn't that wonderful? What a guy. Amazing. One more thing I want to add is about this Christmas party. So, in my disappointment, I was not invited and couldn't go. But my then boyfriend, later my husband, came back after, I guess, the main part of the party, came back and got me and took me to what I would now say was an after party. So I got to hang out with my husband and his colleagues from work in my fancy Christmas wear and nice jewelry. And anyway, it was better than sitting home alone the whole night. So that finishes this chapter, and please join me for the next. All right. Bye-bye now.